guys all doing today? Welcome to another edition of Movie News. Today I'm doing something very different, something very special. I have Richie Honiker, one of my good friends. He's in Vermont right now. Also bringing a very good friend to also talk about some movie news as well.
All right, I'm Richie. I like movies.
Yeah, if you're
That's about
watching
it.
this video right now, you probably already know Richie anyway, so we're not going to spend too much time with intros. So today we're going to talk about some different movie news.
All right.
First up, I think what was the major movie news throughout this week was the J.J. Abrams directing
Mhm.
Your Name adaptation. Of course, he was also now lined up for Star Wars, and he has a lot of different projects going on. So I'm not sure how his schedule is working out. But Richie, I'll start with you. What did you think overall about this decision?
Um, I like J.J. Abrams. I'm going to start out by saying that I feel like I'm one of the few people who very much enjoyed the last Star Wars movie. Um, I'm not even the biggest Star Wars guy, but I kind of liked it
I mean,
for
you're
my
talking
own weird
about
reasons. Hmm?
Force Awakens, not Rogue One, right?
Yeah. Sorry, that's what I meant.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
But um, but um, and I haven't seen, and also, note number two, I haven't seen Your Name. I actually haven't watched it. So
Okay.
I don't think I'm in the place to say anything about whether he'd be good at directing that or not. But, um, one thing I'd like to say is that I think that sometimes if something is a cartoon, if something is animated, some stories just work better animated.
Right.
I,
And
yeah.
and in general, what I was going to say is that recently we've had all these anime adaptations. Looking back at Ghost in the Shell, especially
Hmm.
the most recent one with Scarlett Johansson,
Hmm.
and all the controversy surrounding that, and how the final product ended up being. It wasn't
Yeah.
really good. And although I'm not sure, they haven't really decided on a cast here yet. Um, there's definitely I'm not. I'd like it to not be whitewashed.
Mm.
That said, going past the fact that it's being like having an adaptation done, I'm really happy that's being done by J.J. Abrams. I'm a huge fan of that guy. Star Trek.
Mm.
I have some issues with The Force Awakens, but in general, I really think that it was one of the best. Like for the hype that was there for Star Wars, I think that's the best product they could have gotten out. Um, and of course, I have seen Your Name, and I think it's
Mm.
a really good film. That said, I would love it if it only stayed animated,
Mm.
but here we are. But I mean, since it has such a distinctive visual style and
Yeah.
unorthodox storytelling in Your Name, I think J.J. Abrams is the best guy to helm that sort of film.
Okay.
So, I mean, I feel like we don't need this adaptation, but if
Yeah.
we're gonna get it, then hopefully it's not whitewashed. First of all, and that J.J. Abrams is probably the best pick for this adaptation overall.
Okay. Yeah, I think so too.
So I think in general, not happy with the fact that it's being adapted. I think
Mhm.
we don't need that, especially since it's such a recent film. It's not even
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
literally just came out last year for some people, and I saw it this year, nationwide release this year. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's a little too early,
It's
honestly.
kind of
So
it's kind of strange to be adapting something almost immediately after it comes out, or at
right,
least after most of your audience that you'll be
exactly,
marketing it towards has
right.
seen it. You know.
Yeah.
Um.
Now, if they were adapting like a Studio Ghibli film, which I
Yeah.
hope they never do, but if they
Yeah.
were, I mean, that would make more sense to me in my mind.
Yeah.
This is just too recent,
Mhm.
and I hope they don't ruin it. Although I'm hoping that if it gets made, then J.J. Abrams does a good job,
Yeah.
at
Like
least a decent job, where it's maybe we'll get our first good anime adaptation. Also, that reminds me, Death Note came out on
mm,
Netflix
I
too.
was gonna say
Yeah, that,
after
I
that.
haven't seen it, but I've heard bad things. So
Me too.
I don't know. What are your
Um.
thoughts on that?
Yeah. J.J. Abrams. 3 words of warning. Dragon Ball Evolution.
Yeah, that is a fair warning since
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. So, and, and in general, anytime you take on an anime, you're gonna, especially with Your Name, if for those of you who have seen this film, it has a very specific cultural context,
Hmm.
which really only will resonate with Japanese audiences more.
Hmm.
And if you're a Western viewer, like most of us, then you're gonna either have to like develop a little bit more understanding of that context, or be able to have an experience watching those kind of films. So I don't know how well that's going to translate over to general American audiences.
Yeah. It's
That's a point of interest. I mean, you should see it definitely. It's a good
Yeah.
film.
I watched the trailer, and it does seem like something that would be interesting to watch.
The trailer
So.
is good, I'd say. It gives you the general gist of the movie,
Mm.
but I think the movie, I mean, the trailer doesn't really do justice to the movie.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So, yeah. Okay, we'll move on to the next thing now.
Okay.
Uh, the next thing we're talking about is Denis Villeneuve. He's the director of Arrival, one of my
Hmm.
favorite films,
Yeah.
as well as Sicario and upcoming Blade Runner 2049. We'll get
Hmm.
to that in a little bit.
Yeah.
And he's being signed on to direct Cleopatra.
Hmm.
First, Richie, I'll take your take on this and what you think of the Cleopatra story. If you're familiar with it, what do you think?
Um. Well, not much. I don't know much about history. I don't know much
Yeah,
about the Cleopatra story. I think it's interesting. Um. Denis Villeneuve. How do you pronounce his name?
Denis Villeneuve.
Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah,
Villeneuve.
Denis Villeneuve.
Close.
Villeneuve. You're
I.
close.
I'll admit I don't know this guy very well. If it's not obvious enough.
He's a French director.
Okay. It's interesting that after directing things like Arrival and Blade Runner,
Well, Blade Runner's coming up, but yeah.
yeah, that he would go on to do something more historical
Mhm.
than sci-fi. But I guess one thing that historical movies and sci-fi have in common is like cool action scenes.
Right. This,
I guess Arrival doesn't really have that, but
yeah, that one's kind of a slow one. I was
yeah.
just gonna say, in terms of scale, there's some.
Yes, there you go. That's a better word than what I
Yeah,
used.
no, that's right because that's
Mhm.
part of that big scale, big budget
Yeah.
scale.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I'm a pretty big fan of Denis Villeneuve, of course, because of Arrival, which is one of my favorite films of all time, actually. I'm
Mhm.
really looking forward to Blade Runner 2049. That's it. I haven't
Yeah.
seen the first Blade Runner. Have you?
I watched it. It's actually really cool. It's that's
Yeah, I've not seen
definitely
it.
it's really good. It's absolutely
I'm like
very
not
good.
sure which version to get either because there's like Final Cut, original cut, and there's all these different cuts of it. So,
Mm.
um,
I think I just saw
I
the original.
okay, yeah. So overall, I'm really happy with what this director has done, and I know Sicario. A lot of people who have seen that and told me about it, and I still need to see it. Is that it's a really good thriller. So I
Yeah.
mean, he has a good handle on different types of genres and how to
Mm.
work on those.
Okay,
So
good.
I think his hand at a historical large scale film is gonna go over well. And I think in general he's kind of starting to become a household name um, because of well slow. It's a slow process, but like through the Oscars and like different things, and especially after Blade Runner 2049, which is a big first commercial film or
Mm.
slightly commercial film. I think that this is a good project for him to take on. And I think Cleopatra story, we've seen it in done classic films, but it's been a while since we've seen that on the big screen. So I think that'll be an interesting film to see in general.
Yeah.
And I think he's a good choice for that. So
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
I
any
found
film?
a. Hmm?
I said I think he's a good director. What were you gonna say?
Oh yeah. I found a news article that says that he turned down the new James Bond movie to make Cleopatra
Oh
instead.
wow.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with James Bond honestly right now. I know there was talk about Idris Elba. I know they have Daniel Craig on for
Yeah.
now, and I forgot who's directing the new Daniel Craig one. But honestly, I don't think Denis Villeneuve is the best choice for a Bond movie
Okay.
necessarily. I
That
mean,
yeah.
despite the fact he does commercial films, he does very niche commercial films.
Mm.
Like Blade Runner 2049, very specific niche kind of sci-fi
Hmm.
film.
Yeah.
Rival niche sci-fi films. Sicario also very niche um, thriller, kind of drama film. So I
Hmm.
think his what his style is won't suit James Bond very well. So I'm kind of glad that he decided to do this one more.
That's fair. You got to know your limits, you know.
Yeah, you gotta know. I mean, I
Not
think
limits, but
he could do a Bond movie, but
mm.
I just don't think it would work out the way it
Okay,
should.
that's fine. Okay,
So,
that's fine.
um, who I think should direct a Bond movie though is Doug Liman. If you don't know who Doug Liman is, he's the guy behind Edge of Tomorrow.
Oh,
I
actually,
think
yeah,
he's
that would be
really well
cool.
suited, and his new movie American Made also came out this weekend. Big
Oh.
fan.
All
So
right.
now we're going to be talking about a little bit about Rotten Tomato scores that came out this
Okay.
weekend, and we are talking about two very different extremes here. First of all, if you have kept up with the new Ellen Page Nina Dobrev movie Flatliners came out. This
Hmm.
is a remake of the original '90s movie.
Yeah, I found out that only just a couple days ago.
Yeah, it was horrible from
Oh,
what I remember, and the Rotten Tomato score is currently 0, which usually never happens, but it made it, and
the
it
new one?
yeah, the new one has Flatliners
Wow,
has 0
that's
on
bad.
it. So.
Is my quick question? Is my camera okay?
Your camera looks fine to me.
Okay. Okay. It looks a little dark in my thing, but the lighting's kind of weird in here. Anyways, sorry. Flatliners, 0%. Wow, that's really bad.
0%. Mostly like all the YouTube critics that I follow, or maybe you follow too, have all given it basically Fs. It's just a complete wreck, and kind of, I mean, it kind of makes me think, does everything have to be remade? And like,
Yeah.
just coming off of that Your Name discussion,
Mhm.
especially a '90s horror movie that no one really liked originally.
Yeah, that's a good point. Unless you're doing something crazy, like I don't know, but unless you're using the same name to kind of get people who have heard of it to be like, oh, okay, this is what it's about, but then kind of deviate from that, I'd say that's a good way of going about it. I'll keep this example short, but a recent game I played, Prey. It was really good. It used the same name as one that came out in 2006, but had no relation. But everybody, or some people knew, oh, this game is about aliens, and so this one's about aliens, but it's completely different stuff. And so that is something you could do with a movie to kind of give it like, not like a hard reboot,
Yeah, kind
something
of
like that.
reminds me of the Cloverfield franchise mostly because
Yeah,
Cloverfield and Cloverfield Lane, both very excellent films, very different.
yeah.
Similar though, similar. And interesting thing about Flatliners is, in case you didn't know, is that the director and writer of this film were both very talented people.
Mhm.
The director is the guy who made the Swedish film Go with Dragon Tattoo with Rooney
Mhm.
Mara
Oh
in
yeah.
it. So, and the writer also wrote a really good movie. I'm totally blanking on which one it was, but so we have two very talented people. So I'm guessing that, and this is what most people are saying, even on YouTube community, is
Mhm.
that somewhere there was some studio interference and they wanted to
Mhm.
see one movie and there were two opposing visions. But for a movie that no one really cared about,
Yeah.
the trailers came out. I mean, the trailer wasn't bad though. I
Mhm.
actually remember seeing the trailer and be like, this is interesting because I had seen the first one and I liked the concept.
Yeah.
But honestly, even when I saw the trailer, there were some parts that just looked like cheesy and it just didn't work.
Oh.
But I think what they could have done with this movie is put something new into it, like a new twist, new style, or something different with it. Make it either more darker in tone, or again,
Mhm.
if they put a cool plot twist in it, that kind of would have made it more fresh. But they just decided to rehash it, so
Yeah. Yeah.
you
So
can only get so far with that.
yeah. Well, now I kind of want to see it if it's at 0.
I mean, so do I. And a lot of people have said that it has some of those so bad it's good moments.
Yeah, I'm into that.
So I'm kind of looking forward to like catching it at some point. But especially with with a cast that's
Mhm.
pretty talented, I'd say. Ellen Page, she's worked on some good things.
Yeah.
Um, Nina Dobrev is okay, but it also had Diego Luna. So
Mhm.
people who aren't necessarily the worst actors in a movie that could have been good, it kind of feels just like a missed opportunity for me.
Yeah.
That said, never with the idea of remaking like crappy '90s movies.
Yeah. I think that.
There was a sequel with There was a remake for Point Break too with Keanu Reeves with the original one. And then they remade it and it did really bad. So kind of
Oh.
like the lesson from that. What were you gonna say?
Yeah. Well, I think. Oh, you did kind of say this earlier, but like with Your Name, I think that in general, movies need to stop like I don't know, just cannibalizing old ideas. Like make something new, play around with old stuff. If you want to use old stuff, like if you want to nostalgia bait people, but then bait and switch, turn what they're expecting into something else. That's interesting. That's miles more interesting than seeing the same thing we've seen before.
And that's kind of why I'd say it goes hand in hand with the popularity of stuff like Stranger
Yeah.
Things.
Mm.
Those are using stuff you've seen elements
Yeah.
and then churning out a good new story with it, or at least giving it a new style, coating it with
Yeah.
something different. So
Mm.
I'd say, yeah,
Mhm.
we're past the Flatliners era, Hollywood. Like,
Yeah.
let's move on.
Sorry, guys, but all those Flatliners fans out there, sorry, but
Like minuscule, like
yeah,
I'd never even heard of the original, honestly. Like
yeah.
it wasn't popular, so
I only found out like a couple days ago, and I'd known about the movie. I'd known about the new Flatliners for a while now,
yeah.
but
I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking with that one.
yeah,
So
it's very
especially since
strange.
they had good people and it didn't work out, it's
Yeah.
very simple for that. Other Rotten Tomatoes score we're talking about is, of
Mhm.
course, Blade Runner 2049. I'm assuming they did some screenings for this earlier
Mhm.
because why not? If the
Mhm.
movie's good, then screen it early, get
Yeah,
good review, good word of mouth out. 98% right now with a very, very strong Rotten Tomato score.
that is a
Um,
lot bigger than 0.
yes, and it's outpacing similar movies from advanced ticket sales. So I think
Oh,
we're going to see this movie go pretty big.
good,
Uh,
good.
Despite the fact that not everyone seen Blade Runner, and
Mhm.
one thing that they did good with this movie is the way they marketed it. They got a good cast: Jared Leto, Harrison Ford,
Yep.
Ryan Gosling, people
Mhm.
who have been kind of in discussion recently and have been in movies recently. Having those people, familiar faces in a big movie, it's gonna help. I think we can see this movie going pretty big next weekend. What do you
Yeah,
think?
I think so too. It's it's got a nice. I mean, people like sci-fi movies.
Yeah,
That's a genre that it's hard to screw up.
yeah, and this is really the crux
Yeah,
epitome of sci-fi. And people are familiar with the original film
yeah,
or have seen it,
yeah.
but
Even if you haven't
kind
seen
of.
Blade Runner,
Yeah, yeah, and people who haven't seen it or are familiar with it will know that this is basically what originated sci-fi, basically.
yeah, yeah. So I think it's gonna have a very good opening
I agree.
weekend.
I think so too.
Mm.
And good reviews are definitely helping. Next up, we're talking about Fantastic Fest. I'm not very familiar with this. I think you are, Richie. So I'll let you take
I
this.
I went looking through. Let me pull it up real quick. I went looking through the Fantastic Fest lineup.
Yes.
Fantastic Fest, and I found a familiar name in there. There were a lot of good movies, and you know what? I'm gonna like talk about some of the movies that I looked at and said, oh, okay, that sounds cool. First, and then get to my main one. There was one. There's a lot of animation in here. That's
Right.
good.
I noticed that. Yeah. It's very strong
Smaller,
animation.
yeah, smaller studios need to get comfortable with putting animation out there. But
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks that Kubo and the Two Strings. It sucks that they don't always do good, like
Oh man,
monetarily.
Laika is just such a sad story because
Yeah,
I am such a huge fan of Coraline, and
yeah,
I never
yeah,
was. I love Coraline, and it just makes me sad seeing that their subsequent films were either just as good or similar in like quality level, and no one cared about them. So it
yeah.
made me sad to see how bad those films do, especially Kubo. I mean, that's a really good quality movie over there,
Mm.
and I don't know what went wrong. I think it's a little bit of the release date, but yeah,
Might have
Laika, I
been that. Mhm. Other movies that I saw. Shoot, now I can't find any. But there was this one is interesting. It says Homer underscore A. It doesn't say much about it, but the thumbnail is two guys squatting in a field of grass wearing Simpsons
okay,
masks.
that's new.
I don't know where to go from there, but it just says Connor Sweeney of Astron 6 and FF alumni Milos Mitrovic smash the characters of The Simpsons with the aesthetics of trash humpers, and the results both haunt and disturb. Ay caramba. I don't know what that means.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Wow. This is why I love stuff like Fantastic Fest, is where you're getting
yeah.
films like this. I was gonna say, if you guys are familiar with World of Tomorrow,
Mm,
honestly, it was just so complete. Just
oh.
I didn't understand it whatsoever, but a
Mm,
lot of people love it. Some people call it, Citizen Kane short
mm,
strips. So that had a sequel. I'm looking forward to seeing if that one's different. Um, Also, I was going to say there were two like kind of bigger films that
mm,
premiered at Fantastic Fest. Downsizing,
mm.
starring Matt Damon, which if you haven't seen the trailer, I'm not going to ruin the plot for you
Okay.
because the plot is really interesting. And My Friend
I
Dahmer.
was that was the other one that I was looking for. I was looking for it in here.
Yeah,
That one looks really cool.
that one looks really intense as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know how far that's going to go with audiences, just because
Mm,
the subject material's kind of
yes.
tough. So I mean, but I'm glad it did premiere at Fantastic Fest. And I was going to say
Yeah.
also Fantastic Fest is that one thing about that film festival is that they do a good job of promoting small movies,
Mm,
but truth is that this is not the Oscar front runner festival. So for
yeah.
that, you're gonna have to wait for Toronto or New York. New York is actually happening right now. We'll get into a little bit about New York Film Festival
Mm,
in a while, but because one of my most anticipated our most anticipated indie films is premiering at New York Film Festival
Hmm.
like right now. So
Hmm.
that's really exciting.
Which one is it?
That's Florida Project.
Okay.
If you don't know about it, write it down on a list because you're not
Florida
going to want to
Project.
miss that movie.
All right.
It has a really good cast of young actors and also stars Willem Dafoe.
Mm, okay.
So in general, Fantastic Fest is more of that small film thing. So
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not very familiar with that, but I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to hopefully seeing some of those movies from tonight's Fantastic Fest come out.
Absolutely.
So let's see how it goes.
Yeah. The two I'm gonna keep this real quick, but the two Fantastic Fest films that I'm really interested in, um, Nicolas Cage, huh?
Oh, there's Nick Cage one.
A Nick Cage movie called Mom and Dad says
Yeah.
a teenage girl and her little brother must survive a wild 24 hours, during which a mass hysteria of unknown origins causes parents to turn violently on their own kids.
That sounds really good, and
Yeah,
I hope it's a comeback for Nick Cage.
I hope so too. I think that Nick Cage definitely could play a crazy murderous father.
That looks really interesting.
No offense, but
No, yeah,
but
you know, he is really designed for those kind of roles, and
yeah,
he's been doing some lot of crap recently. So
yeah. And then my number one that I'm really interested in, and I hope that somehow, some way, this finds its way out of Fantastic Fest and into the world.
the real
It's
world,
called, huh?
the real
The
world.
real world, yeah. The mainstream. It's called Great Choice. Have you heard of it?
No,
So, do you know like the weird Adult Swim kind of shorts that they do, like Too Many Cooks?
I've
So
seen
yeah,
the Adult Swim shorts. I have not seen that one though.
okay. So I love weird, creepy stuff like Too Many Cooks. This house has people in it.
Mm-hmm.
Some other third one that I forget the name of. Sorry, third guy, but it's really cool. This one, Great Choice. Let me read the description to you. A woman is trapped in a Red Lobster commercial.
I'm
Sublime
already in.
absurdity.
I'm already in, man.
Sublime absurdity crescendos to nightmarish heights with remarkable emotional resonance.
That looks awesome. I
Yes.
want to see
So
this.
it has, yeah, so it has the aesthetic of like a 90s Red Lobster commercial, but
Yeah.
then like it keeps repeating itself and things go on and it's like, whoa, something's not right here, you
Yeah,
know?
this reminds me of that one little Adult Swim short, actually.
Hmm.
You know, where everyone's seen it. It's like
Hmm.
the little theme song for that 90s sitcom.
That's Too
Like,
Many
what's
Cooks.
going on? Okay, that's Too Many
Yeah,
Cooks.
that's Too Many
I've
Cooks.
seen that.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah, yeah, similar. Okay,
Uh-huh.
cool.
And I heard about that completely unrelated to Fantastic Fest, so that's funny that I'm like,
Yeah,
why does Fantastic Fest sound familiar?
yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be down to see that.
Mm.
Yeah, and then going from there, from all these small
Yes.
films, we're going to be talking about DC Extended
Oh,
Universe, guys.
I'm excited.
Oh, this DC, I don't know where to start with these guys. They are the most confused film company of all time. I swear, like they don't know
Mm.
what the heck they're doing. I don't know what their management team and
Mm.
their marketing team thinks when they just announce stuff. And in general, I mean, it's been a mess for them
Mm.
recently, except for Wonder Woman being the exception. And
Yeah.
Justice League looks messy. I know it looks
Yeah.
messy. I'd love it if it was good, especially with two directors working on the same movie.
Mhm.
Since we had Zack Snyder had
Yeah.
to leave because of personal issues, and
Oh.
then
Oh,
Joss
really? I didn't
Whedon.
know that.
Yeah, he had to leave for personal issues, and Joss Whedon came in for the second half.
Oh,
So now it's a Zack Snyder first half and Joss Whedon second half, and those are two
interesting.
very contrasting tones.
Yeah.
Justice League's another conversation for another day.
Yeah.
But this is about DC wanting to stop kind of their cinematic universe thing
Mm.
for a little bit and make some more independent related films. For example, Martin Scorsese actually came up to DC and was like, I'd like to make a Batman film with you
Mm.
guys. I'm actually kind of with this decision. I don't
Mm.
know why. I feel like it's a good decision that they're trying to take a break from that because it'll let, good directors kind of do whatever they want with these DC characters.
Yeah.
And because DC characters are so memorable, so well known,
Mm.
many different directors are going to want to work with them. And they don't want to, get their hands messy with the whatever trash pile that DCU is right now. So I'm glad they're going this route. Plus, it'll make them some extra bucks. What do you think?
I think so too. I mean, DC has kind of been like it's like when you're a kid and you see your cousin or your brother or your friend have like, oh, he has a cool toy. I want that cool toy too. But so DC was like, well, they have the Avengers. They've been building up to this. Why don't we have our own kind of cinematic universe? Do we have time to build up for that?
Nope.
No. We got 3 movies. Make it happen.
I
So,
know. And the amount of world building they've tried to cram
mm,
into like 3 movies. Like, if you're gonna do world building,
mm,
you got to start early and you got to produce a lot of films.
mm,
The way Marvel did.
yeah.
When it comes to Marvel versus DC fanboy debates, I'm always on the Marvel side. There you go, because they are the ones who took out the time, planned
Mm,
it out. DC just kind of said, okay, we should probably do this too, in a hunch, and just threw out a bunch of films that were basically terrible and tried to cram too much material, especially Batman v Superman. There's
mm,
so much crammed into that little 2-hour space where movies just lost.
yeah.
I think what Wonder Woman did great, and I've said this in my review too, is that they didn't cram the world building in.
Mm,
So I'm glad they're taking this route, even though I think they're
yeah.
confused and don't really know what they want sometimes. I think this
Mm,
is a good choice
yeah.
for them to kind of let some independent films be,
Mm,
in the mix for them.
I think
So
so too. Slightly unrelated, but still on the same track. It bothers me that both Marvel and DC are horribly guilty of doing this. But I get kind of bothered when a company puts out like a list. Here's what we're going to be releasing from right now until 2050.
yeah,
It's
basically,
like
yeah.
it ruins the fun of like. Yeah, I remember like sitting in the theaters and then seeing a trailer come on and be like, "Whoa, what's this trailer for? I don't know this movie." And then the name flashes on screen. Black Panther. Aquaman. I'm like, "Whoa,
Yeah,
dude!"
yeah,
And we'll never get anything like that ever again.
that's true.
Because it's all about weaving them together into this
Right,
one.
right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, partly I think the internet's to blame a little,
Hmm.
but
That too.
I mean, yeah, I totally share your experience. In fact, I remember seeing the Guardians of the Galaxy trailer, and I didn't know Guardians of the Galaxy. No one knew
Yeah.
Guardians of the
Yeah.
Galaxy.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, I was still excited. Like, what is this new Marvel movie? Why have
Hmm.
I not heard of this? Nowadays, you just get so much context earlier, and when you
Yeah.
see the trailer in theaters, it's never like the first time you've heard or seen the trailer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I see where you're coming from. That
And
said, like,
mhm,
DCEU has just been terrible in their management, where they've just been randomly throwing out Joker origin story.
mhm.
Like, it's like they get a pitch every day and they just say yes to anything.
Yeah.
DC needs to slow down with like how
Mhm,
much they're going crazy on Joker, because I knew there was a point where they were doing Joker Harley Quinn movie. I think there still is one Joker Harley Quinn movie. They're still trying to do the Gotham City Sirens, or either they replace that. It's just a complete mess,
yeah.
and they're always announcing these films, changing their plan.
Mhm,
Just be sure. When you're sure, let us know.
yeah. Yeah.
Don't go back and forth, because you're just confusing the audiences.
Mhm,
And in a world right now where there's already enough cinematic universes, with
yeah.
dark universe like Tom Cruise mummy stuff, you gotta keep track of that. You gotta keep track.
Mhm,
Don't confuse the audience. Be sure, then announce it.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm glad that they've kind of come to a sort of
Mhm,
decision here, that they want to stop the world building, do some independent films, have that be separate. That's a good idea.
yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And I mean, this is slightly more minor, but like, imagine they announced Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I don't know if they did, but let's say they did.
They're working on the script, but yeah,
Of course they are. But
keeps
um,
guns on.
yeah, and here I am sitting in the theaters, opening night of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Oh boy, are they gonna make it out of this situation alive? Yes, they are, because there's sequels.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, that's kind of where we are at this point, and DCU is
Yeah.
just
Mhm.
the prime, like, exact model for what not to do, and they just keep doing that. That said, again, this decision I think was good.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree.
I think that's enough for DC for one
Yeah.
day. So 2 more things to talk about. We're going to talk a little bit about what happened this weekend at the box office, as
Okay.
well as a little bit about New York Film Festival,
Okay.
because it wasn't officially on my list of things to talk about, but we have to talk about it because Florida Project is going to be amazing.
That I don't
So
know as I don't know as much about the New York Film Festival, but
it's okay. Actually, New York Film Festival is gonna kind of bring out some of those Oscar movies. So
Okay, cool.
we gotta talk about that. So box office roundup, really weird, really interesting weekend this weekend.
Mhm.
So basically, we have Friday, Saturday, we have the official numbers. Sunday, we're still working with estimates right now because Sundays aren't over.
Mhm.
But American Made, and Kingsman are in a three-way race for number one. All three are around $17 million. So depending on how the rest of the day plays out today, one of those movies is going to come out top.
Mm.
Honestly, I think it has a chance at being number one because yes,
Yeah.
I remember last weekend Kingsman was on top, but before that it was.
Mhm.
So American Made, I think, will get knocked down ultimately, just because I don't know if there's enough interest for that film to
Yeah.
stick at number one. I think,
Even if
despite the fact right now they're actually pitching that movie at number two. So I don't know.
yeah.
It's kind of hard to describe or predict. What do you think?
Yeah, because even if I mean even if American Made is like a crazy good movie that has the potential to hit number one, it's got a big competition. This is David and Goliath stuff we're talking about. You've
Yeah.
got It, which has managed to stay number one, number two since it come out, right?
Yeah, and
And
it is now the all-time highest grossing rated R horror film.
there you go. And so you are facing a juggernaut, and then on the other side, on the other hand, you've got Kingsman, the sequel to Kingsman, which was like one of those like crazy, like no one saw it coming. Yeah, yeah. Because like yeah, it was based on a comic book, but
Right.
nobody. It wasn't like a really popular like it wasn't the big two DC Marvel. So it's like well, it was just a very surprising like okay, I'm into this, you know.
Mhm.
And so you've
That's
got
yeah. I was gonna say that said, American Made. Wow, they made a lot more money than I thought. Because last time
mhm,
Doug Liman directing Tom Cruise movie came out, Edge of Tomorrow, that movie did not do as well, I
mhm.
think. And I think American Made surprised me on how well it did. So
Yeah, so that's good.
I mean, yeah, it's going to be a close race. I'd like to see it on top, though, because I think the more money that it makes, the more other studios will follow in its example of how to make a good horror film
Mhm.
that's for the mass audience.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and it's been a while since we got a
Mhm.
Stephen King adaptation on screen, so I'm always rooting for it. The reason I'm not rooting for Kingsman is because I've heard very mixed reviews for that
Yeah,
movie.
I actually haven't seen it yet.
A lot of
Um,
people I've talked to have said they like it.
mhm.
I think audiences in general like it, and critics are having a hard time enjoying it as much. Also, American Made, I wouldn't mind if that was number one either, because I'm a big fan of Doug Liman. He
Yeah,
does a lot of good
that looks good too.
films. Yeah, so in general, let's see how it goes throughout
Yeah,
this Sunday. I think a lot more people might see it because October has officially begun,
that's
and
true.
no matter what you say, the season always has an impact on what
Mhm.
movies you're watching.
Yeah.
Going down to 4 and 5. 4 was Lego Ninjago, 12 million.
Oh.
That movie, of course, is the worst of the Lego movies. Haven't
Oh,
seen it,
really?
but I've heard. Yeah,
Does not surprise me. Gotta
it
say,
looked okay. It looked okay to me. It looked fine. I
yeah,
just wasn't invested in
it's
it.
an odd choice. It
It is an
really
odd choice.
is an odd choice.
Well, honestly, I know it's a big TV show. My brother used to
Mhm.
watch it, so I
Yeah.
know it's a big TV show, but
Mhm.
it's just not going to translate well to anyone over like 12.
Yeah, it's hard to hit a general audience because with, let's
Right.
say, a Lego movie, everyone either
Everybody,
knows or likes Legos. If you're a Mega Bloks guy, you're still probably waiting on the Mega Bloks movie.
yeah,
But and then with Batman, Lego Batman, okay, so that's after seeing the Lego movie, people trust them to make movies. And then on top
100%.
of that, yeah, and on top of that, it's Batman. But then a general audience, likely, even if you follow Legos, likely hasn't heard or isn't interested in the Ninjago franchise enough
Right,
to want to go see this movie. So I'm very
right.
surprised that it's at number 4, you said?
4, yeah, this weekend it's a 4 with 12 million.
So I guess that's something. As long as
It's
it
one.
yeah.
It's one of the only family films out right now, so that's kind of
Yeah.
nice.
Oh.
Because it's been a while since what was it before Lego Ninjago in terms of there's like Leap, like really track like family films. I'm trying to think
Yeah.
of family films that are coming out.
Mhm.
And since it's a bigger family film, I don't see this movie going very far.
I don't think
Um,
so either.
do I think it has, some ability to do well in places in the Asian market? Yes, I do.
Probably.
That said, again, not very far.
Mhm.
Just because, I mean, when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, this could be big because this is such a big popular TV show. But the truth
Mhm.
is, it's a kids' TV show
It's a
at the end
kids TV
of the
show.
day. And how many times, like, it has to take a lot of kids to drag their parents to this movie.
Yeah, and it doesn't have. I don't believe. I mean, I don't know, but I don't believe that Ninjago has this sort of like fan base of like teens to adults. You know, like if they made like a like Transformers, that's a good example.
Yeah.
That's something that's kind of a kids show, but everybody likes it.
Likes
You know,
it, yeah.
and so that's going to make a lot of money. But Ninjago doesn't
Right.
have that same fan base that would
Right.
go out and see that.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay. And at number 5, we had Flatliners at 6 million, as it flatlined at the box office, is what people are saying this weekend.
Oh
Number 5 is
no,
really, really bad to open
that's
on. 6 million is just terrible.
yikes. Mm.
Sucks to suck. If you're someone like Ellen Page who's trying to bring her career back,
Yeah.
it's a harsh blow.
Mhm.
That said, spoiler alert, guys, but if I wanted Flatliners, I've heard that Ellen Page's character dies halfway through the movie.
Oh no, poor Ellen Page.
I mean, that movie really was never destined for anything good, honestly. I am
I don't
looking
think so.
forward, however, to a similar movie, Happy Death Day, coming out in 2020.
Yeah, that actually
That
looks really
movie looks
entertaining.
interesting, and it's from a good production company, Blumhouse Productions.
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
Yeah, Blumhouse does almost every horror movie. I'm surprised Blumhouse named the film Flatliners, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. It looks really. It looks fun. There. That's one
more
thing.
fun, yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing that I like about. I got into like watching. I wouldn't call Friday the 13th horror as much as it is just like a slasher kind of movie. But one thing that I like about those kind of movies is that you got to be creative.
Yeah.
And with the
No,
premise of this movie that you keep dying over and over again, kind of like Edge of Tomorrow. I don't know if I wouldn't say that they did this as well, but with that you have so much room to be creative, and as creative as you want. There are no limits to how creative you can be. So your rating is really the only thing.
Yeah, and this Groundhog Day scenario.
Yeah.
I've seen it a billion times. The
Mhm.
first time I saw the trailer for Happy Death Day, I was like, eh. But the truth is that even though that scenario is kind of overplayed at this point, it can be used as a base for anything.
Mhm.
So I've seen a lot of movies like that. Groundhog Day, comedy.
Mhm.
Edge of Tomorrow, sci-fi. Also saw this really interesting film this year called Before I Fall. Not a lot of
Sounds familiar.
movie. Yeah, not a lot of people saw it, but they did a really good job of making a good teen drama mystery around that movie. So I liked what you can do with the base, and for you to take it up a notch to horror where you're trying to find out who your killer is.
Yeah.
I'm all in.
That sounds cool.
Hopefully that movie gets good reviews and is a good movie. So
Yeah,
looking forward to that. Since I don't want this video to be too long,
okay.
I'm going to go on really quick to New York Film Festival.
Sounds good.
Kind of hit the highlights on there. I've been talking about this whole video about the Florida project. I know this movie is not going to end up getting an Oscar or anything. It's just not that kind of movie where it's going to appeal enough, I think, to the Oscar committee. But Florida Project, I mean, if you haven't heard of it, write it down somewhere because you won't miss this movie.
Actually, yeah.
This is for everyone. If you guys are looking for a good small film to check out, you want to check out the Florida Project. This is going to be Willem Dafoe in a role that you've never really seen him in before, with a cast of young actors that can do the job. And I'm really loving his movies with young children. Whether it's Logan, whether it's whether it's TV shows like Stranger Things or whatever, because kids are giving such good performances in films.
Yeah.
And that element really works in a lot of different types of films. And I think it'll work in this film.
Good.
So you should check it out.
The name sounds very familiar. I feel like I might have seen something about it.
It's from A24.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Moonlight, Comes at Night, Woodstock, all those movies from the same company. So looking forward to that. It comes out next week, I believe.
Okay.
For everyone to watch, because it's nationwide release versus limited, whatever. Also, the movie to kind of keep your eyes open for is I don't know if they're doing Shape of Water screening there, but I know they're Shape of Water. Yeah, I don't think they're screening that at New York Film Festival, but I'm pretty sure they're screening Killing of a Sacred Deer, which is kind of this weird title, but this is kind of one of those Oscar front runners already. This is basically kind of similar to like Nocturnal Animals kind of hype that was there last year. So that kind of hype is for this movie too. Kind of a cool movie to look out for. Also stars the kid from Dunkirk. If you have seen Dunkirk already, this is the kid who played the guy on the boat. the young kid on the boat who dies eventually. Oh, spoiler for Dunkirk. So definitely those two movies are something to look out for. That said, Florida Project, I'm rooting for that film because I know that director has films like Tangerine under his belt. I haven't seen Tangerine. I know it's good, and he has a very good way of showing more real America, like a real life America,
Mhm.
like a side of America people usually don't see
Yeah.
on the screen. And I think, especially using a child innocent element to that is going to work out really well. So
Yeah.
that screening at New York Film Festival, either like I think it was screening like 10 minutes ago. Like they started screening. I like saw the photos. So
Oh.
it's cool. Yeah. What do you think about New York Film Festival?
Well, I'd like to go. I mean,
Yeah, I would love to go, of course.
even if, yeah, there's something about like even if I'd never heard of any of the films they're showing there,
Yeah,
that's good because then I don't know what to expect. You know,
going in blind. Yeah.
I'm surprisingly not like close. I'm actually 8 hours away from like New York City.
Hmm.
How long is this going on? Maybe I could
It's
sneak
going
in there.
till October 16th. I don't
Okay.
know if
Hello. Oh, connection issues. Connection issues. There we go.
okay, it's back. Uh,
There we go.
so yeah, I doubt you'd be able to get a pass, but you can try.
Hmm.
I mean,
Okay. Oh.
yeah, it doesn't hurt to try.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
So yeah, guys, that's basically all I have for you today. This is Richie Honiker. He's a good friend of mine. He's also
Thank
a
you.
movie buff. He also loves video games. So do you have any cool video game things to share real quick?
Oh. Prey was really good. Cuphead came out yesterday. That's fun.
Yeah,
Cuphead's really fun.
my friends have been playing Cuphead, and
Yeah.
I'm not even into gaming, and the aesthetic of that
It's really cool.
so
Yeah.
good, and the gaming mechanics look really fluid.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Like I don't want to
excited.
be. Yeah, I don't want to be like guy number 10 billion to say, "Oh, spoiler, guys, Cuphead is fun." But it's cool to hear that
Yeah.
like these were hand-drawn animation cells that like they put into a game. So it's a big download. It was like a pretty big download for what it is, especially because it's kind of a shorter game. But I feel like most of the value of this game comes from, can I get an A plus? The answer for me is yes. I got an A plus on one of the levels, and I was very happy about that. But it's like, can I beat this 100%? You know,
Mhm.
so it's less about like finishing the game, more like doing good at the game. And it's hard.
Right.
It's a hard game, but in the way that it's not difficult. Like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. No, you know what you're getting. I mean, you see the patterns. You have to learn the patterns, break your habits, and adjust your habits to those patterns, and then you win.
Mm.
Yeah. So it's not like
Yeah,
yeah, unfair.
yeah, and
Mm.
I mean, looks like a good game. First of all, it's
Yeah.
good music, good art,
Mm.
etc. So
Mm.
I like what they did with that. So yeah, guys, thank you for
Yeah.
watching.
And thank you for having me on your channel. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. I don't know how long this video is going to turn out to be, but it's going to be a big file.
We got 43 minutes right
All
now.
right, that's going to be a big file, and who knows if anyone's going to ever watch the entirety of this video. But if you made it here, thank you for watching the whole thing.
Thank you. You get a special prize, and it's a high five.
Here you go. You got a high five from Richie. So
Mm.
thanks for watching, guys. I'll have new videos coming out. Hopefully, the Blade Runner 2049 review will be out soon. Some trailer reviews, if any new trailers come out. I think a few did. So yeah, check out for that.
All right, I'm excited.
Do you have something I can, some channel or something that you want me to promote for you in the description?
I leave no trail. I live in a shack in the middle of Canada. I have no internet connection.
So if you go down in the description, you'll find the address for
Yes,
Richie's
to my shack. Yep.
So thanks for watching, guys.
Yep.
Thanks, Richie, for doing this. And,
Thank you for having me.
you can stop recording right now. So that.
All right, and